In our last 2023 FRQ, we are working with a two-dimensional array called CandyBox. Here we will search, move, and remove candies from a grid. All the code we're going to cover, including the runner classes, as well as the APCS questions, can be found in the GitHub link below. You can download the examples and follow along. Use the test runner classes to test out your answers. Let's get started. Our FRQ4 involves a box of candy. We're given this basic candy class, which returns a flavor, and we don't really do anything with this. We'll just need it in our next class. Our next class is the box of candy. And essentially what the box of candy is, it's a rectangular grid of candy. It's a box. It can be any dimensions, so we'll have to keep that in mind. And we're supposed to implement two different methods. Knowing that we have a two-dimensional array of candy, we have to implement a moveCandyToFirstRow, where we're going to get a column where we're going to check the first row and move a candy into it. And the next method will be to remove candy by flavor and return the candy that we find. So let's take a look at the first piece. Write the moveCandyToFirstRow method. If we take a look at our base case, if the element at row 0 and column already has a piece of candy, then the box is unchanged and the method returns true. So essentially, like this column right here, I see that a lime is in the, if I look at the first row here and there is a candy, a lime, I'm going to return true and do nothing with the box. I'm going to leave it as is. There's a candy there. However, if I look at that particular space and there is no candy, I want to move a candy into that space by looking at the column below it. So in this first example, I'm calling moveCandy. I look at column 0 and I see there is no candy, so I'll iterate through. I can either iterate from top to bottom or from bottom to top, taking a look at this column. And since I find no candies to place in my row, I'm going to return false. When I call column 1, I take a look and there's a lime candy right there. I don't have to do anything, so I return true. The odd thing is this second piece. I look here and I'm going to find a piece of candy, and it's up to us. They give us the choice on what candy to move. If I start looking from top to bottom, I'll take the cherry and move it up here to the top. However, if I'm working from bottom to top, I could take the grape and move it to the top. Either way, it's okay, it works. So they accept either way if I go from top to bottom or bottom to top, or however, as long as I get a candy moved up to that first place. So let's take a look at the code. Well, first off, I want to take care of the base case. If it has a candy in the first row, we're done. I want to return true. Simple. Row 0 in that column, if it's not null, it's not empty, I want to return true. Otherwise, I want to loop through the rows underneath that first row. So I'm going to start at row 1. If I didn't find a candy, I want to move a candy into it. So I'm going to start from top to bottom. Next thing what we're going to do is at that particular place, at the row and column that we specified, we're going to check to see if we find a candy. So if we find a candy, what do we want to do? Well, if we find a candy, we want to move the candy into the first box and return true. So whatever row I'm in, I'm going to move that into the first column, which is row 0. Then at that particular place, I'm going to set it to null, meaning it's empty, and return true. Once I've gone through, if I haven't done that, if I haven't shortcut it, I just want to return false because I didn't find any candy. Let me save that, and I can run the FRQ runner A. What we have here is a lot like our first box, where I have a lime, orange, cherry, and lemon grape. We're going to print out the box. We're going to run these things. As we said here, the first one should return false, the second one should return true and do nothing, and the third one should return true and move the cherry up to the top. So if I run this, we can see the lime, orange, cherry, lemon, grape looks like our case. We see that the first one returns false, second and third one return true, and we see that nothing happens to the first column, nothing happens to the second column, but we see the cherry has moved up to the top. So our first test case works. Let's go to the next one. The second part is removeNextByFlavor, where we take in a flavor and we want to return that candy back if we find one of that flavor. Otherwise, we'll return null, meaning that we can't find it. The different part about this is that it does care about how you progress through the box. It does care about when you're looking for a specific flavor, you have to go through the box in a certain order. What is it? We start off by going, the last row from the box is traversed from left to right. So we start at the bottom and we go left to right, looking for this candy. Then the next to last row is traversed from left to right until a piece of candy is found. So essentially we're going from bottom to top, left to right. We'll start at the last one, go left to right, looking for the candy, then we'll go to the next one left to right, and so far, bottom to top, left to right. So let's take a look at how we would do that in code. Here we are back at the box of candy. We want to first start off with going bottom to top. We'll create a simple loop here. We'll take the last row and we'll continue subtracting from that until we get to 0. That's pretty straightforward. Then we want to go from left to right for our columns. We get the number of rows from box length because it's a two-dimensional array. If we want to get the length of the columns, we'll take the first row and get the length of that. That tells us how many columns there are. We're now going through the box in the order that the case requested. Now we're going to take a look at the candy itself. We'll grab a variable and hold the candy. If the variable is not null, that means it's not empty, and it matches the flavor. So, excellent. We found something that matches the flavor. What do we want to do? We've got a handle on the candy. We want to null out the compartment in the box and return the candy. Now, if we go through the entire box and we can't find a candy, we return null because we couldn't find it. Simple. Let's take a look at the runner. We're going to start off with the box as is. You can see that we've done this. Lime, lime, lemon, orange, lime, lime, cherry, lemon, orange. We're going to call remove cherry. It's going to take a look at this. First, it's going at bottom to top, left to right. Bottom here, up, right off the bat, we have a cherry. We remove it, send it back. Second call, we'll start from the bottom, go left to right. Nope, we didn't find a lime. Then we go to the next row. We go through and we found a lime here. So we're going to take that lime and remove it, and we're left with this box. The last call we're going to do is grape. So we take a look here, look for grape, can't find it. Take a look here, look for grape. Take a look here, look for grape, and we can't find it, so we return null. So we're doing that here in the code. We're going to look for cherry, lime, and grape, and hopefully the start box will look like the end box. We run it. Take a look here. We have lime, lime, lemon. Let's take a look at our first box. Lime, lime, lemon, orange, lime, lime, cherry, lemon, orange. That matches. We found a cherry, we found a lime, and the last one we couldn't find a grape, so we get null. The last box that we have here matches. We have lime, lime, lemon, orange, nothing, I would say orange, nothing, lime, and then nothing, lemon, orange. This works. This finishes up FRQ 4.